Choosing a water filter pitcher often feels like you're just picking between two plastic jugs. But when you compare ZeroWater and Brita, you're actually looking at two completely different philosophies about what clean water should be. It's not just about filtering out the bad stuff. It's a debate over what, if anything, should be left behind. One side argues for absolute purity, stripping water down to its most basic H2O form. The other takes a more targeted approach, acting like a skilled editor, removing specific undesirable elements while leaving the rest of the story intact. Understanding this fundamental difference is the key to figuring out which pitcher actually belongs on your counter. Filtration technology and contaminant removal. Let's get right into how these filters work, because the technology inside is what drives every other difference between them. ZeroWater is built around a comprehensive 5-stage filtration process that heavily relies on ion exchange. Think of it as a powerful magnet for dissolved solids. As water passes through the layers of the filter, resins grab onto and swap out ions of contaminants like lead, chromium, and mercury, effectively pulling them from the water. The primary goal is to remove virtually all total dissolved solids, TDS, which includes not just heavy metals, but also inorganic salts and even beneficial minerals. ZeroWater's filters are certified by the IAPMO, International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials, to reduce lead, chromium, and PFOS, among other things. Brita, particularly with its more advanced Brita Elite, formerly Long Last Plus filter, takes a different path. It uses a combination of activated carbon made from coconut shells and a proprietary filter media. The carbon acts like a sponge for contaminants like chlorine, giving your water a cleaner taste and smell. The other components are specifically designed to target health-concerning contaminants. This is where the certifications become really important. The Brita Elite filter is certified under 3 separate NSF ANSI standards. Standard 42 for aesthetic effects like chlorine taste, Standard 53 for health effects, and Standard 401 for emerging contaminants. The deal with TDS. One of ZeroWater's most prominent features is the free TDS meter that comes in the box. Their marketing is built around the promise of getting a 000 reading, indicating that the filter has removed 99.6% of all dissolved solids. It's a powerful visual, but it's crucial to understand what it's actually measuring and what it's not. Let me explain. Total dissolved solids are exactly what they sound like: the total amount of any substance dissolved in water that isn't pure water itself. This includes harmful contaminants like lead and arsenic, but it also includes completely harmless and often beneficial minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. That TDS meter is essentially a blunt instrument. It tells you the quantity of dissolved stuff, not the quality or identity of it. A 000 reading confirms that the filter has stripped the water of nearly everything, which is impressive, but it doesn't differentiate between a dangerous heavy metal and a healthy electrolyte. Brita, on the other hand, doesn't market itself based on TDS reduction. Its filters are designed to leave beneficial minerals in the water, which is why you won't see a TDS meter included with their pitchers. Their philosophy is that there's no need to remove things like calcium and magnesium. Instead, they focus on certified removal of specific harmful substances. The practical takeaway is this: the ZeroWater meter gives you a satisfying, easy-to-understand number that proves the filter is working hard. But that number doesn't necessarily equate to safer water than what comes from a Brita. It just means it's emptier water. You cannot use the TDS meter to confirm if lead or other dangerous non-ionic contaminants have been removed. Taste, speed, and daily use. When it comes to taste, the difference in filtration philosophy is immediately apparent. Because ZeroWater removes virtually everything, the resulting water has a very pure, crisp, and almost flat taste. Many people love this, describing it as the cleanest water they've ever had. Brita filtered water tends to taste more like conventional spring water, clean and fresh, but without that mineral-stripped emptiness. It primarily removes the chlorine taste and odor that plagues most municipal tap water, resulting in a noticeably better but still familiar taste. However, there's a critical catch with ZeroWater's taste. Its ion exchange filter works until it's completely saturated. When it reaches the end of its life, it can suddenly release the contaminants it has been holding onto, often resulting in a sharp drop in pH and a sour, acidic, or distinctly fishy taste. This isn't a gradual decline, it's a cliff. Brita filters, by contrast, tend to have a more graceful degradation. The flow rate will slow down, and you might eventually notice the chlorine taste returning, signaling it's time for a change without the unpleasant surprise. Cost of ownership. This is where the rubber meets the road for most households, and the difference is stark. The aggressive, all-or-nothing approach of the ZeroWater filter comes at a significant cost. Because it removes so many substances from the water, the filter becomes saturated and needs to be replaced far more frequently than a Brita filter, especially in areas with hard water that has high TDS levels to begin with. Let's look at the numbers. Independent testing has estimated the cost per gallon for ZeroWater at around 0.70 cents, while the cost for a Brita Elite filter is estimated to be just 0.17 cents per gallon. That's a massive difference over time. A single Brita Elite filter is rated to last for 120 gallons, or approximately 6 months of typical use. A ZeroWater filter, on the other hand, might last only a few weeks to a month in a household with moderately hard water before the TDS meter starts to creep up and that dreaded acidic taste appears. Minerals, friend or foe? The debate over minerals in drinking water is central to the ZeroWater versus Brita comparison. ZeroWater's ion exchange process is non-selective. It removes dissolved mineral salts like calcium and magnesium right along with heavy metals. This creates demineralized water, similar to distilled water. For some specific applications, like use in home appliances to prevent scale buildup or for watering certain sensitive plants, this can be an advantage. However, for drinking, many health experts argue that these minerals are beneficial and contribute to daily intake requirements. They also play a huge role in the flavor and mouthfeel of water, giving it a perceived freshness. Brita's activated carbon and selective filtration media are designed to leave these healthy minerals largely untouched. The goal isn't to create sterile, empty water, but to remove harmful or unpleasant-tasting contaminants while preserving the natural mineral profile of the water. Essentially, Brita cleans up your tap water, while ZeroWater replaces it with something fundamentally different. Which pitcher is right for you? So after all that, what's the verdict? It comes down to a clear choice based on your personal priorities. You should choose ZeroWater if your primary goal is to remove the absolute maximum amount of total dissolved solids from your water. You prefer the taste of pure, demineralized water and are committed to monitoring the TDS level to know precisely when to change the filter. You are less concerned about the higher long-term cost and more frequent filter replacements, prioritizing purity above all else. You should choose a Brita pitcher with an Elite filter if your goal is a practical, cost-effective solution for removing common and specific health-concerning contaminants like lead, chlorine, and trace pharmaceuticals. You want the confidence of multiple, widely recognized NSF certifications and transparent performance data. You prefer to keep beneficial minerals in your water and want a low-maintenance filter with a long lifespan and a much lower cost per gallon.